Look how hard the wind is blowing.
That is not good at all.
There's no end to it.
The fire burned right up to the front door.
I've never seen nothing like it in my life.
This is going to be an impossible area for firefighters to get into.
This is worse than any we've ever seen.
It just was sad just watching it destroy everything.
This community, they turn out. Going forward, we're going to help those that can't.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight for this special telethon. I'm Kelly Ogle, along with Robin Marsh. You know, our neighbors in western Oklahoma, they're hurting. Their land, their homes, their livelihoods lost to deadly wildfires.
And you know, when there is a crisis, Oklahomans answer the call for help. And tonight, Oklahoma, we need your help. We've teamed up with the Red Cross to provide much-needed aid to those who have lost so much. If you can give tonight, go ahead and call 1-800-947-4529 to donate. The phone lines are open right now. Also, you can text Red Cross to 90999 to instantly give $10.
And how about this? 2 Oklahoma companies already answering the call big time. We're going to reveal their generous gifts in just a few minutes.
Meanwhile, the State Department of Emergency Management is still surveying the damage from the recent fires, but they're telling us nearly 100 homes have burned.
Our Amanda Taylor went to the town of Vicai to show us the personal stories behind the destruction.
In just a 10-mile radius of where I'm standing, we found about 19 families who have lost their homes. And even though the homes near Vicai are spread apart, the people we spoke to say they couldn't feel closer to one another.
That is a house that burned clear back there, too.
Audra Helderman has lived in Vicai her whole life, and she knows nearly everyone.
Her name is Gayla Williams, and she's a widow.
Including those who lost nearly everything.
Kelsey and Brody are a young couple. They were married not too long ago, really. Their parents live here, too.
The wildfires that ripped through her small town didn't discriminate. 17 of the students in the Vicai district lost their homes. And Audra knows every one of them because she's also the school's counselor.
This is Karen Coopers and Marvin Coopers.
And it's here at the Coopers' home where we meet 15-year-old Dalton.
This was my bedroom right here in front of us, and the back closet right here by the carport, and then the living room right there.
The high school freshman wasn't home when the evacuation started, so he never had a chance to grab what meant the most.
Everything you've had your whole life, gone.
Is there anything in particular that meant more to you than others?
The guns that I had in there. One of them was my grandpa's. It's been in the family for a long time.
And those are the things that can't be replaced. But nearly everything that can be replaced needs to be.
I wish you just the very best out here, and I know that Oklahomans are going to come out here and they're going to help.
This is Vicki and Lyndall Morris, and they had a nice trailer down there, double-wide trailer. This is Penny and Lynn Gregory's house. They ran a flower business.
And next door, an oil field worker, Toby Baker, who's raising 4 kids.
It's bad to see, where my kids had their stuff, their trophies, their Special Olympics things, their school projects that they was proud of, things like that is painful.
To add to the pain, Toby doesn't have insurance.
It makes me sad for my kids. Them not knowing where they're going to come home at night, that's pretty hard for me, honestly.
But he says he built his house once, and he can do it again.
Friends and family and people we don't even know, strangers, we're going to get through it, and it'll be okay.
As one of the homeowners told us, yes, it's devastating, but you can't let it set you back. You have to move forward. And with this community, the kind that will give you the shirt off of their back, moving forward may be just a little bit easier.
I think Oklahoma's different. I know everybody's proud of their state, but Oklahoma truly has a unique history that has prepared us for times of crisis. And we do lift our chins when it happens, and we do keep putting one foot in front of the other, and I truly believe we are unique.
On the scene, on the story, in Vicai, Amanda Taylor, News 9.
It is sobering when you start seeing the faces and the lives that were really changed by all that devastation. And so maybe you're sitting at home wondering, how can you help tonight? Well, we are partnering. So right now, volunteers are standing by to take your phone call. You can help if you'll just call right now, 1-800-947-4529. Donations to the Red Cross provide thousands of meals to firefighters and fire victims. The Red Cross also sent dozens of volunteers to western Oklahoma to set up evacuation shelters for those in need. You can also text Red Cross 90999, again 90999, and that'll give a $10 donation.
You know, the loss for cattle ranchers is devastating too. At least 1,100 head of cattle were killed in those fires. Lacey Lowry spoke with a ranching family in Lenora about their loss and the future of their livelihood.
Lynn and Janet Briggs barely escaped the flames.
It was so hot, and you could feel it. I mean, it was terribly hot just trying to work in it, you know, in the smoke.
The fire went right through their Lenora property the first day the wildfires broke out.
We just ran for it. We just barely got out of here.
They thought they had enough time to move more than 67 head of cattle to safety, but the flames were racing at them at least 40 miles per hour.
We got them in the corral and went home to get the trailer, but when we got back, it was too late.
The Briggs had to leave the animals behind.
Cattle are all looking at us. You know, like, what are you going to do with us? You always take care of us. We've been there every day, nearly all winter long, or 5 days a week. And it says we can't get out, Janet, we've got to leave.
When the fire rolled through, the cattle burst through the gates of the pen.
Mother Nature took them to the canyon bottom. But the trouble with that was that's where all the cedar trees was. It's just full of cedar trees, and it's just like an inferno down there. It's a terrible sight to look at them.
Nearly all of the 33 mamas and 33 babies were killed.
That's life-changing.
It's the worst thing I've ever witnessed and fought, you know. I've seen a lot of things happen, but it happens so fast everywhere here. I mean, it's so much of an area at once.
Like many ranchers here, Briggs did not have insurance on his cattle. It's a $140,000 loss and about $20,000 to replace miles of fencing. And this is just one story of so many. At least 1,100 cattle were lost in the Ray and 34 complex fires. This calf, the only survivor out of 80, now clinging to a horse's side because it's the safest she's felt since the fires. Video shows a cow jumping through the flames and finally emerging from the choking black smoke. The ones who escaped showed the marks of their harrowing run, covered in ash. Back at the Briggs,
you can see her udders are burnt pretty bad.
A few mamas and 2 calves survived that fire, but they were still injured in the smoke and the flames. This cow so wounded, Briggs says he'll end her suffering. Through it all, these ranchers are grateful for the blessings they have, the lives they escaped with, and the overwhelming support from people offering to help.
You just have to start over, you know. It's like it took 4 years to get that set of cows having their second calf, so we're just going to have to start over.
In Lenora, Lacey Lowry, News 9.
Tough story there. The ranchers need hay, they need bagged feed and fencing materials. You can contact the Cattlemen's Association if you have those items to donate.
And we do want to mention the Red Cross is also taking donations to provide aid to those impacted by the wildfires. Our Carl Torp and Lacey Lowry are live right now with several volunteers waiting to take your call. We got to hear the phones ringing, guys.
Guys, it is loud in here. The phones are already ringing. I hope you can hear me because we like all of that noise in here. We have 20 Red Cross volunteers standing by, ready to take your phone call. We were going to talk to one of them, but they're all on the phone right now, so that's a great sign.
I think there's always a fear when you have a telethon like this that you're going to quick shot to the phones and nothing's going to be ringing. But look at that. We had no reason to fear any of that right now.
It's
because
incredible.
The phones have been ringing since we started the show at 7 o'clock. We have a combination of Red Cross volunteers, also OEA volunteers, and they've been through a telethon or two, so they know what they're doing. And Your donations go a long, long way.
And they go right into the disaster relief fund through the Red Cross. The Red Cross already so pivotal helping wildfire victims in northwestern Oklahoma. And we're pretty excited right now to start things off with a really big donation. So come over here. We want to talk to the people at Domino C gas stations up in northwest Oklahoma. Come over here, you guys. Let me get on the other side of you.
We have a check so big it took 2 guys to bring it out.
There you go.
All right. Go ahead, Martin. Tell us what you did here.
Well, this thing just took off really fast. All of our employees got really excited about it, and we decided we were going to donate all our food and beverage sales from yesterday. Plus, we got Shell to pitch in and a lot of other partners, and we were able to raise $121.70.
And you guys were like shooting for $50,000 when the total was added up. What'd you think of this amount?
Well, we knew yesterday that it was working out so well. All of our employees were behind it. Our customers were behind it. K101 radio really helped out. Marty Logan, you guys, we were just packed all day long. It was incredible.
Marty Logan shows up, an invite or not. He is there.
When Marty Logan shows up in northwest Oklahoma, he's a rock star. We had people coming out to get autographs, to buy food, whatever. Marty Logan was great.
Yeah, he is incredible. Great. Hey, we appreciate it, Martin. Congratulations, and thank you so much for the generosity.
Starting things off with a $66,000 check. That is a round of applause for everybody. Okay, we need to get these phones ringing off the hook. I see a few people waiting for a phone call, so call right now. Actually, all the volunteers are on the phone again, so keep calling. We'll get to you.
1-800-947-4529 is the number to call, and we are here to help all night.
All right, the phones are ringing. And again, all of this money donated goes to the wildfire victims, to the disaster relief fund through the Red Cross. So we may have to jump on the phone here in just a second, Carl.
No, it's great. It's great to hear this ringing. And I hope, tonight when I go to bed, we're all hearing it inside our ears. We can't get rid of the ringing of these phones.
There you go. All right, we'll send it back to you and check in with us in just a little bit. We will update the tally on what we've raised so far, you guys.
All right, good job over there, Carl and Lace. And mentioned Marty Logan being a rock star. All of our storm trackers have really become rock stars because they save lives.
They do.
And I'll tell you, they were out on the front lines of these fires. I mean, they were around the clock. Information not only helping those fleeing the flames, but also helping the firefighters who were trying to put them out.
And that meant our storm trackers were getting very close to the storm.
Yeah.
Val Castor near Sealing right now. Val, when you were there, I mean, you were right there as homes were burning in neighborhoods. And I mean, we just see the effects of that massive fire that barreled through there.
Yeah, Robin, what you're looking at right now, this is a neighborhood about 2 miles east and 1 mile south of Sealing. And that house right there is destroyed. And I think there were 2 others in this neighborhood destroyed also. And the video you're looking at right now is that evening, Tuesday evening, of this neighborhood going up in flames. Now, something really interesting, just a few minutes ago as we came in here, we talked to a young lady that lives right across the street from this house. Her name is Caitlin, and she said that she was watching our live stream, mine and Amy's live stream that night from a neighboring town, and she had no clue as to whether or not her house was lost or not. But at the end of the night, a couple of other guys that had drove in the neighborhood and said all the houses on this side of the street are fine, and she knew at that point that her house was fine, and she said it was such a relief. Her house right across the street from this made it. Everybody survived over here, which is the best news that I can think of. Also, another incident happened to us, and this was Tuesday, about around 5 o'clock or so. There was an emergency management vehicle. You can see it in our video that actually got stuck. Now, out here, there's sand hills, and he had pulled off of a leased road to turn around, and he was actually in here with a four-wheeler to do some rescues, and he got his vehicle stuck in the sand. And so we quickly, and keep in mind that the flames are to our west, and they're probably 5 or 10 minutes away. I think you can hear Amy in the video say, they're about 200 yards away, the flames, hurry, you know. So we hooked up the chain, started pulling on the truck. That truck, and I'm in David's truck right now, and that truck probably is about twice as heavy as this truck. Could not just horse it out with the chain. I had to get some slack and jerk on it about 6 times or so. it was starting to get desperate right there. But finally, at the end, we got him pulled out. And at that point, we had to travel back towards the fire on the leash road to get out. But everybody made it out of there just fine. If it hadn't have, that truck would have absolutely been lost. The men might have made it out of there. They had a four-wheeler, but the truck would have been lost. So good news on that front also. Back to you.
Val, great job. And we remember a couple of fires ago when Val actually pulled a man out of a motor grader. And
Saved his life.
And the flames were on it. You know, firefighters continue to mop up a few hot spots, and Oklahomans are helping their neighbors, pitching in to support families who've lost so much, especially in that massive Ray fire. News 9's Christy Lewis is live on the story with more on the recovery. Christy?
Yeah, Kelly, the flames that moved through here really had no mercy, not on the plant life, not on the power lines, or even homes. When all you've known for decades is destroyed, some say it's tough to find a place to start. Volunteers at this home are taking it one thing at a time, picking up what once stood on veteran and retired educator Dale Liston Jr.'s property. It's been in the family since the 40s.
Of course, you had a lot of mementos and different things.
The Baptist General Convention of Oklahoma's disaster relief team is sifting through it all.
Our motto is bringing hope, help, and healing.
To look for anything salvageable and separating all of the charred materials to be carried away.
Fire is almost all consuming.
According to the Oklahoma Department of Emergency Management, there are more than 50 structures impacted by the 34 complex and the Ray fire. So far, this group of volunteers has gone home to home in the Visai area and stands ready to go anywhere else they may be needed.
It's a real blessing.
They'll clear away what's left so families no longer have to look at the destruction and help take that first step toward hope for the future.
Just try to get where their homes burn down to a foundation where they can see that we can start rebuilding from here.
Now, so far, these volunteers have done this kind of work at about a dozen homes, and they know of about a dozen more that they plan on going to next. Live on the scene on the story near Visai, Christy Lewis, News 9.
Christy, thanks so much. And if you're joining us again, if you'd like to donate, the number to call 1-800-947-4529. It was a blessing to get some of that rain, that good soaking over the weekend.
That was a healing rain. We could use another one, and it sounds like we might get one. Let's check in with our chief meteorologist, David Payne, with our wildfire outlook now. David?
Yeah, great news. And again, this map has not looked this good in a long, long time. But honestly, the fire threat for Oklahoma the next 4 to 5 days is very low. We're going to get that next wave of rain overnight tonight and into tomorrow. It'll keep the fire threat in the low side, way down here. And then by next week, it begins to ramp back up some because the wind will increase. We'll have dried out some, but at the same time, a chance for showers and thunderstorms will be increasing next week, at least for some of us off and on. So overall, the next 9 days, nothing showing up, nothing like what we had last week and the week before when it was just completely out of control. Hey, the 34 complex fire, the one that took off north of Woodward a week and a half ago, it is now 100% contained, but that's the outline of where the fire burned. Pretty big area, over 60,000 acres. Then we all know about the big Ray fire that covered up much of Dewey County, and that fire basically burned nearly 287,000 acres or 448 square miles. Can you imagine? Right now, still just under 90% contained. By the way, Oklahoma County has about 718 square miles. So that was, over half the size of Oklahoma County. Let's move that down to the county. And if we take the Ray fire, move it over to Oklahoma County, look how large that fire was, folks. That is absolutely amazing. Shots here from outer space, April 11th, before the two big fires. Not much going on out here. And then after the fires, you can see the scar marks of the burns north of Woodward. And then look at Dewey County, folks. Wow, look at that big black spot. That is all nothing but scorched ground. So, wow, the rain we had last weekend was good. We'll see more rain coming our way tonight. But those pictures are absolutely amazing. Guys, back to you.
Yeah, really are. Donations are pouring in for our neighbors in western Oklahoma. Let's go back live to Carl and Lacey, who are at our Healing the Heartland telethon. We like the action we saw earlier, guys.
It really is amazing what's going on here. Thank you, Oklahoma. You are doing your part tonight because the donations keep coming in. These phones nonstop. Take a look. Take a look. One hangs up, it gets answered right away again. I have a donation here. This is from Tryon. This is just in the last 5 minutes we have for $300. She didn't want me to give her name on the air, but we appreciate you from Tryon with your donation of $300.
From Tryon with Love.
From Tryon with Love.
I've got another one right here. Yeah, Glenn and Joyce McConnell of Enid, $2,000 donation. It just came in. The phones are ringing. We're about to update the tally, but you actually have another business that you spoke to that stepped up in a big way.
Dobson Technologies. They're a telecommunications company out in western Oklahoma. They're headquartered here in Oklahoma City. I had a chance to speak with their CEO this morning. I'm here at Dobson Technologies with the CEO, Everett Dobson, who has a very exciting announcement to make. Everett.
We do. We are happy to announce we're making a $25,000 donation to the Oklahoma Red Cross to assist and help those affected by the wildfires out in western Oklahoma.
Now, this was something that hit you guys personally here at Dobson Technologies. Why is that?
Well, this affected area has been our home for many, many years. I lived in Dewey County myself and Roger Mills County. Grew up out there. Our business, we started in Dewey County in the early 1960s in a company that's founded by my grandfather. So it's very personal, and these are hardworking people that have had a serious loss.
I want to show you what happens when we have producers behind the scenes trying to do the quick math. It doesn't quite work out, but that's a good thing. We actually now have it.
It's dated, so the new number right now, $103,000, and we are still tallying up numbers. So we'll toss it back to you. We're going to crunch some numbers again and come back with more in just a minute. Guys, back to you.
We'll take it any way we can get it at this point.
They're great with words, terrible with numbers.
There you go. Coming up, David heads up top with Jim Gardner for a look at the massive scars left by those deadly wildfires.
And dozens of the heroes fighting those fires were doing it for free. Our Amanda Taylor follows them as they work to save lives.
Plus, News 9 storm trackers help emergency managers stay out in front of those fast-moving flames.
is now 87% contained. 220 emergency personnel are helping rebuild roads and fences instead of fighting flames now. The 34 complex fire is now 100% contained. It burned 62,000 acres north of Woodward, just east of Highway 183.
I tell you, as we watch day and night, trying to contain fires that size with strong winds is almost impossible. It takes hundreds of emergency responders and unprecedented coordination.
Chief Meteorologist David Payne went to the command center in Weatherford, where they are using his forecast and News 9 storm trackers to stay ahead of the flames.
David, this is just a battle to no end right here.
As the fire smothered northwest Oklahoma.
This thing is just raging right now with black smoke.
Our storm trackers follow the fiery path.
They're definitely in danger on the north side of 270.
Firefighters worked tirelessly to stop the wildfires from spreading, but the weather wasn't on their side.
There's no fighting that type of fire. You just have to kind of get people out of the way.
On the campus of Southwestern Oklahoma State University in Weatherford, inside the concession area of the event center, the command center works to keep firefighters one step ahead of the flames.
We're tasked with mapping the fire as we get data in.
That data comes from their own trackers in the field.
If I see a house that's on fire, I can drop a point, and they're seeing it. So they're getting intel as I'm mapping.
But they also came to depend on News 9 at times to pinpoint the location of the fires.
Yeah, it's been invaluable.
Well, this is 2 miles east of Sealing and 1 mile south. I think the locals call this Hertz Corner.
As soon as I see Val's feed and I can draw in on my computer, I'm drawing in where he's at and what the fire's doing. And if there's a hot spot, I can drop a point and I hit submit, it goes to the field sees it in real time.
We're giving him locations, saying, okay, this is where we're at. We've got a new fire that just popped up right there. We got a new hot spot over there, and they send a plane and, you know, do an airdrop on it. They've got all kinds of brush bumpers around the house. A lot of times we get worried that we might be in the way, you know, and so we try to stay out of the way. Boy, that's getting hotter. It makes us feel a little better to know that we're actually doing some good, you know, and helping with the efforts.
Doing a lot of good, that's for sure. Well, the Red Cross has been in western Oklahoma helping victims and first responders since the fire sparked. And tonight, we have partnered with the Red Cross to help those in need, and we need your help. News 9's Lacey Lowry and Carl Torp join us with the volunteers it takes to make all this happen. Lacey?
It is a well-oiled machine over here. The phone bank's ringing off the hook. A lot of people on the phones right now. I'm going to take you through the line, show you a couple of people busy at work. We've got OETA volunteers along with Red Cross volunteers taking donations by phone. And just really quick, we printed 300 of these donation forms for phone calls. We've already run out, had to go print more. So that's more than 300 donations at this point. And Carl Torp has a special guest. Hey, Carl.
Marianne White, Executive Director of the Northwest Chapter of the American Red Cross, and you were out there in western Oklahoma, and what did you see? Because I know that this is a time that Oklahomans come together, and you saw it firsthand.
I did see it firsthand, and I've experienced it several times with the American Red Cross and with our incredible communities that we have out there. We come together, we feed those first responders, we take care of all those folks that have been damaged, homes have been damaged by the wildfires, and we couldn't do it without our communities out there, the local churches, how they pull together, help us feed the first responders, and help us make sure that we can take care of everybody that comes out to those communities to help.
Red Cross serving more than 1,400 meals to firefighters out there while these wildfires were going on. Tell folks, you know, how much these donations mean. These, you know, I think a lot of people, like, maybe they're not donating money, but they want to donate something else. But you guys want money, and that's because you can make it go a long way.
Yes, we can make it go a long way. And unfortunately in Oklahoma, a disaster can happen next week also. So it really does help replenish our disaster relief fund, and it helps us to be able to continue doing the great work that we do in across Oklahoma, and especially in northwest Oklahoma.
What's it like to hear these phones ring?
I love hearing the phones ring. I want to get back and start answering those calls. And I can speak on behalf of the Northwest Oklahoma. We appreciate everybody donating to the American Red Cross.
And we appreciate you, Marianne White. Thank you so much.
Hey, want to give a quick update? I've got my little tally, $108,000.
Yeah.
And this is probably dated at this point because that was before you guys came to us on this latest live shot. So we are live over here at the phone bank. Make these phones ring, and we love taking your money for these wildfire victims in northwestern Oklahoma, our neighbors to the northwest. We'll send it back to you and check in with you in just a bit.
All right, Carl and Lacey. And know a lot of people are sitting at home right now thinking they're going to call. Just do it now. Get it over with and help folks out in northwestern Oklahoma. They need it. I'll tell you, they're salt of the earth people out there, and they're tough. As David came back and said, he said, those people out there are hardy, but I'm telling you, they got their hands full. News 9 storm tracker Alan Brosey saw homes and a lot of land burn. He's joining us live now near Camargo. And Alan, you practically lived in your truck out there. You saw some big flames in that area.
Yeah, that's right, Kelly. And hey, Robin, yeah, most of the week we saw flames 60 to 80 feet tall, especially as the flames would get down into these bottoms. They'd retreat down to these creek bottoms and river bottoms and light up the cedar trees down here, and they would just blow up. You would see flames for miles and smoke up to 10,000 feet. We started out at Ray, where the fire actually started, and on a good note, we actually saw some greening coming up through the ashes on my way out here today. But anyway, hopefully that's a good thing for everybody out here. We raced 28 miles that first night out here, from all the way up to Sealing from the river here, and it was about 3 miles wide, and we just tried to stay ahead of it. The best we could do to stay ahead of it and try to stay out of firefighter's way. One of the best things that we've seen out here was the coordination of all the fire departments, including the air attack craft. They were awesome. The fire was uncontained for a week, and they did everything they could to be strictly defensive, guarding homes and lives and, and some equipment and property out here. We couldn't have done this without them. The worst wildfire that we've ever seen, Earl and I have been chasing tornadoes and fires for a long time, and it's absolutely the worst fire that I've ever seen. Thing that we did note, it was kind of beautiful, but yet so deadly. When the winds come back out of the north, Kelly, it was 40 miles out of the north, or 40 miles per hour. It lit up and burned the trees out here to where they glowed. They were translucent, and that's hot enough that that's the kind of stuff that blacksmiths try to get to forge steel. That kind of heat. When you get coals that hot, they fly off into the sky, and they'll drift 200, 300, 400 yards and go ahead and start new fires. We're sitting in the middle here. We've got a house 300 yards on the east of us, 300 on the west, and the fire went right between here, and the firefighters were great about trying to contain the fire away from the homes. But, everything within there is just nothing but a wasteland. I did want to say, thanks to all that helped out here, all that contributed, and for those that allowed us to come out here and document this. This is a truly historical fire event. And one last thing before I sign off, Kelly, I want to make sure that everyone makes those phones ring back at home. So, hey, everybody, make the phones ring. Back to you, Kelly.
Alan, we appreciate all your time out there. I'm telling you, Alan he pulled in the station. I said, well, you got to go home and rest, and he was headed back out there.
Yeah, and Alan, thanks so much. Lives saved by what you've done with our storm trackers as well. Alan said he wants you to call, and that's what we want you to do. There's the number, 1-800-947-4529. Your money will help the Red Cross provide meals, shelter, and many other services to disaster victims and first responders. Also donate $10 by texting Red Cross to 90999.
That was too close. Too close.
Really close. Our storm tracker, Marty Logan, had a very close call trying to save some cattle. The harrowing video of him escaping the flames coming up. But first, these heroes leave their homes to battle dangerous conditions while trying to save their neighbors.
Welcome back. Those fires that raced across western Oklahoma left a big scar behind. Nearly 400,000 acres of burned earth.
Our David Payne went up top with Jim Gardner and Bob Mills, Sky News 9, to get a look at the extensive damage.
David, as you look down from Byside down to the east and southeast, and just look across that.
It's charred.
Yeah.
Mile after mile.
Flying over Dewey County, Sky News 9 captures what's left of Oklahoma's farmlands.
These are big farms up here, and they rely on good topsoil. So as that burns away and then the wind comes in, it's stripping their topsoil off their ground.
Yeah.
And that's really a big loss.
More than 340,000 acres burned in the wildfires, scorching everything in its path, including 1,100 head of cattle.
As the wind came across, it looked like a sandstorm coming off there.
That is incredible. Now we've got to deal with wind erosion.
Aside from the loss of cattle and land, dozens of families lost their homes.
That one right there, and then there's one back to your left, but that one right there too. They burn all around, melted the siding off of it.
And on the ground, you can see up close the aftermath. Homes reduced to ash.
So is all this yours? I'm looking around right here?
Yes.
Near Camargo, we found Monica and Neil Stevenson. They returned after the fire came through and initially thought their home had been spared.
I was standing about this far from the house, and about that time my mini blind that was screwed into the studs in the wall in the living room just fell. And then my husband's recliner curled up in a ball within a matter of seconds, and I turned to run and I dropped my shovel on the porch that I was carrying, and the glass busted out of the window behind me. And then the flames started coming out.
The couple's home burned to the ground, and sifting through the charred remains, there was little they could salvage. So you went through the whole house, and this is what you were able to pull out of the gun safe?
This is what I pulled out of the fireproof safe. I've got a newspaper clipping, a couple pictures of my kids, a note to the Tooth Fairy. That's what's left.
Happy with what she did find, Monica remains positive despite her heavy loss.
The condition of the house is the same. I can cry about it, or I can be praising Jesus because our lives were spared.
Wow.
You've got to look for the beauty.
Keeping a grateful heart, that's for sure. We're going to get an update from David on the wildfire outlook shortly. Hundreds of firefighters from all over the country battled the wildfires, and many of them from northwestern Oklahoma do not get paid for their heroics. Our Amanda Taylor shows us what the volunteer firefighters have been through over the last week and a half.
If you looked at that fire weather forecast and that fire behavior forecast, it should scare the hell out of you.
It's just a losing battle here. All they're trying to do is save structures, try to save homes.
This is going to be an impossible area for firefighters to get into.
The fire that burned through northwestern Oklahoma moved faster than firefighters could keep up.
This is as mean as I've seen. We've been on some giant fires, but well, this one takes the cake here.
Flint Ferris and Clay Sander were both in the middle of it. Tologa firefighter Ferris on the ground and ceiling firefighter Sander calling the shots at a command post.
I know most of those people that are there that I'm drawing the area and saying, I need all of you out. And so my fear is, you know, did everybody get the message? Did the guys go out and make sure all the houses are empty? Especially when I hear, you know, we're losing this house, or we've lost that house, or we can't save it.
Holy cow, look at the wind coming off that thing.
Just a helpless, helpless feeling, you know. This was not a fire that you stand your ground with, or you'll be a dead man. Well, I remember standing there at one point, we'd get out to fill tankers or fill our trucks, and I couldn't hardly stand up. I mean, the wind was blowing so hard.
The two say over the course of 5 days, they probably got an hour or two of sleep a night, and they left their own homes in harm's way to help others. They left their families and their full-time jobs. You see, every firefighter in Dewey County works as a volunteer. Firefighter Ferris has a cattle business, and firefighter Sander, well, he has a full-time job too.
This isn't the first time firefighter Sander has been called a hero. You see, back in 2016, he came face to face with fugitive Michael Vance. Firefighter Sander is also the sheriff of Dewey County, and he was shot once in the head and twice in the arm, but he says that has not slowed him down.
I feel that this is the best way I can help and make sure that our community is safe. And I've been on the fire side, the EMS side, and the sheriff's side, and I wouldn't do anything else.
Some homes were lost, but thanks to all of the firefighters, many places, like the Newells, still stand.
We have a lot of gratitude
15 to 20 different departments. They know who they are, but they saved our house, and they saved a lot of people's places around here.
You'd hear somebody call out that so-and-so's house is fine, we're moving on. And that lifted everybody and kept them going.
It's that drive to not give up, to stare danger in the face, to help our neighbors, that ultimately saves so many lives. And for that, we thank our heroes. On the scene, on the story in Dewey County, Amanda Taylor, News 9.
Unfortunately, one hero did not make it out of these fires. Jack Osmond was building a fire barrier with a road grader when he was overtaken by the smoke. Mr. Osmond was a Roger Mills County worker. His son told us last week Jack Osmond died doing what he truly believed in, and that's helping others. The Red Cross helped provide thousands of meals for those firefighters, and you can help them do more. Right now, volunteers are waiting to take your call. Let's check in with Carl and Lacey at our Healing the Heartland telethon. Update us, guys. How's it going over there?
Hey, Kelly, yeah, quick story here. When I first got here, there was a woman who's answering phones right now, and I won't out where she is. Over there, though. She basically said, you know, if the phones aren't ringing, it looks bad. It looks bad. So what I can do is I can make the phone next to me ring. So I'll do that if we have to.
That'll be our secret.
That's our secret, yes. But luckily, that has not been the case. From the get-go, these phones have been ringing off the hook, to the point where we want to point out that if you call and you get a busy signal, keep calling, because lines will open up. It's going fast and furious over here.
We will be here to answer every single phone call. Want to go through some of the wonderful donations coming in. Rick Compton from Watauga, sir, $500 donation. Thank you for helping out our neighbors to the northwest.
Another $500 donation from Mary Ann from Geary, $500. Also Danny from Hera, another $500. So we appreciate it.
There we go. And now we want to do the update on the tally. $126,000 so far. And keep in mind, that's already dated because all of these phone calls haven't been added in. So the Ricks out there, the folks from Enid out there, all those donations coming in, we will continue to add that to this rolling tally.
And we have made more copies of the donation forms. We had a struggle going on earlier.
We've gone through about 500 donations, donation forms so far. So again, the money that you donate is going to the Disaster Relief Fund of the Red Cross. It will help wildfire victims, folks who've lost their homes, ranchers who have lost their livelihood, and so many impacted by the wildfires, the Ray Fire, the 34 Complex Fire, or Woodward Fire. So many acres burned, 1,100 cattle lost. I spoke with the Secretary of Agriculture, Jim Reese. He says that's about a $1.3 million loss just in cattle, and that number could go up because that's a conservative estimate.
Yeah, it's amazing what the Red Cross has already done even without these donations tonight, providing more than 1,400 meals for firefighters out there. Also, I read this, over 100 of those kits, those kind of washout cleaning kits. Yeah, that they're giving to firefighters that come in all covered in soot and, you know, they're coughing or whatever it is. And so they're there for firefighters, they're there for families affected, and they're there for the long haul.
Yeah, the money will go to help feed firefighters and fire victims, so meals, shelter, and any other type of resource that a wildfire victim may need.
Yeah, so just keep the donations coming. Again, if it's busy, keep trying, because not only do these people have experience doing this, they know how to grab a donation and get to the next one, because they're pros out here, and keep the donations coming. We appreciate it.
And again, we're not having to make the phones ring, as Carl pointed out. We'll toss it back to you.
No funny business, Robin and Kelly.
Phone calls, guys.
All right, and the number at the bottom of the screen for sure. We have had some good rain lately, but will it be enough to break the drought? David with an update next. And a close encounter for storm tracker Marty Logan. He tells us about the day the flames were rushing towards him in Dewey County. First responders know the dangers of fast-moving wildfires.
News 9 storm trackers spent countless hours on the front lines of these fires.
And that included our tracker, Marty Logan, who had a very close call with the flames trying to save a rancher's cattle. Our Amanda Taylor caught up with Marty in Dewey County. First responders know the dangers of fast-moving wildfires really better than anyone else. But even for a seasoned storm tracker and a veteran firefighter like Marty Logan, the flames can be a surprise.
When I took off running, I didn't look back.
It's a moment storm tracker Marty Logan won't soon forget.
And you can see the fire right here on the left side of the screen.
As he barely escapes a wall of flames.
Were you scared right then?
Scared? Oh, you can't panic. Inside you can be rolling and tumbling, but you got to keep composure because you got a job to do and you got to do it where nobody gets hurt.
It was April 12th, the first day the wildfires took off across northwestern Oklahoma, and Marty spent the day tracking them.
You're seeing it, guys, right there ahead of us. My job, and I still carry on with saving lives. That's what I want to do. I'm destined for it.
His passion to keep people safe puts him in harrowing situations, though, but nothing like what he drove up to this day.
Come on, guys, get out of there.
Marty sees a truck up ahead and cattle trapped behind the fence, so he stops and takes off running.
And you know that it's somebody's livelihood and they're live. I mean, you don't want anything live to be burned up.
You see Marty as he feverishly works to try and get the gate open, then realizes he is in trouble.
And when I looked back over their heads, I saw the fire crown a hill and it was coming right at us. And I knew then I didn't have enough time to go in and try to move the cattle out on the road to give them a chance.
Marty runs for his life as the flames close in behind him.
There's fire nipping at my backside and that's a nearly 60-year-old sprint right there. And when I got back into the pickup,
oh, that was too close, too close.
I saw the fire come to the fence and start working towards me. And this is all happening in half seconds, quarter seconds.
As he hit the accelerator to back away from danger.
Gosh darn it, I was just there.
Unsure if his efforts saved the cattle.
The way you got to think of that, those cattle are somebody's IRA, their college savings, their payment to the bank, the way they put their food on the table.
And so if he had the chance, he says, he'd do it again.
I would still go in. Now my two daughters, I was told that no longer can I go after cattle. He said, Dad,
they draw the line.
They drew the line.
On the scene on the story in northwestern Oklahoma, Amanda Taylor, News 9.
That was crazy. That happened during our 5 o'clock newscast again, and we were watching it and we were just like, what is he doing? What is he doing? And he was obviously fine. He turned out to be safe, but I tell you what, it was a white knuckle ride as he was running back to the car. And anyway, Marty does an incredible job for sure. And last weekend, this was incredible, right? All the rain we had. Now, the heaviest rain Saturday was up and down the I-35 corridor, but even Dewey County, Ellis, Roger Mills, Woodward, Harper County had anywhere from a half to right at an inch of rain. So it was great news for the folks in the Northwest for sure. The burn ban, it's a big one. It does include Oklahoma City to the north and all the way back to the west. So the burn ban is still in effect. So keep that in mind. Even though the fire threat, as far as the index or the fire threat potential, that's come down. It's in the low category right now. So we're doing all right. But it doesn't take much for that wind to crank up and for this to change. But we're going to keep the fire threat overall low through the weekend. Looks good. We warm it up. The wind comes back next week, and that will increase the fire threat some. But at the same time, these days in here will have an opportunity for showers and storms and even some severe weather possible with that. Okay, so what's coming our way tonight? We've been talking about it for nearly a week now. Last weekend's storm is long gone, but tonight's storm through tomorrow, look at there, folks. Rainfall totals in the drought-stricken areas of the Northwest it looks good. Bring on this rain. A lot more about this tonight at 10 on News 9. Guys, here we go. Back to you.
All right, look forward to hearing about that rain. The phone lines are only going to be open a few more minutes.
Let's get a final check with Carl and Lacey at the Healing Heartland Telethon. Guys?
I'm almost sick of the ringing phones, but not quite when I know there's donations behind them. It has been fast and furious all night. I got a couple to read off. We have Dawn and Martha from Perkins, $1,000 right in there. Woo! We appreciate it. And also one from Norman. This is Archie from Norman, another $1,000. Way to go.
And I've got another $1,000 individual donation from Keith Davidson of Chickasha, and a really special donation that just came in from Barbara Boyd of Moore. She lost her home in the May 20th, 2013 tornado. She hid in the bathroom. They were all okay, but they lost their home. The Red Cross helped them out. Barbara says, I want to pay that forward. They helped me. I want to put my money where my mouth is. So Barbara gave a $100 donation just now. So incredible, incredible, the donations coming in.
I think it's our last hit tonight, so
Okay.
we're going to bust out the wild card, okay? And that is this man right here. It's Phil Adams with mattresses and furniture. And Phil, the phone's off the hook right now. Tell us what you're doing.
Okay, the next person that calls in and I get the call, you're going to win a brand new Sofa Love seat from us just for calling in and donating to this telethon. We want everybody to support Western Oklahoma, so give us a call right now, and when you talk to me, you win a Sofa Love seat.
There you
How
go.
about that, Phil? We appreciate it. Call now. His line's open. Win a Sofa Love seat, and we have a winner.
Who is it?
Hi, this is Phil. I'm the
All right.
the Red Cross. Can I get your name, please?
Hold on.
What's
the
the name,
suspense is
Phil?
killing me.
No, well, I kind of need to say
Uh,
on air because you just...
It's okay. It's okay.
And they are right on.
Explain to her we're putting you on the spot.
Is that okay? They're putting me on the spot.
Explain to her it's live television. We have a winner. Bottom line, we have a winner.
We'll find the name out in just a second. Right now, the running tally that we have, as you can see, $136,000.
Wow.
And growing. Did we get a name on that one?
I'm reading here. Do we have a name? Who do we got? We got Patricia. Patricia, congratulations.
You and a new sofa.
You and a Sofa Love seat. We appreciate
But
it.
even more important, donating to a very good cause, the Disaster Relief Fund through the Red Cross. So keep the phones ringing. We will answer every single one. If you can't get through, keep calling.
Yeah.
We will get to you eventually.
All right. Kelly and Robin, take it away.
All right, don't forget there are other ways to help donate. Cash donations can be sent directly to volunteer fire departments, local churches, and voluntary organizations like the Oklahoma Baptist Disaster Relief. You can also send checks to the Cattlemen's Foundation, the Oklahoma Farmers and Ranchers Foundation, and the Oklahoma Farmers Union. Make sure to put wildfire relief in the memo. We've included all the information and more at the top of our News 9 app. Thanks for joining us this evening and for your contributions to the Red Cross.
We'll see you back here at 10.